As we have established earlier, with every new year there is a new Tomb Raider game. The year 1999 was no exception to the rule. Tomb Raider 3 was popular, so we need to milk the tired old cow once again. Oh well, I'm not suggesting that Lara Croft is an old tired cow, but the franchise is starting to get pretty stale if you ask me. What could you possibly do as a developer to make an appealing new sequel within a year? For the third time actually. What is there to improve to make the game desirable amongst the public in such a short time? I remember people getting tired of Lara Croft and Tomb Raider in general, especially those who played previous entries. By the year 1999, 3D action games improved very much. You know, camera control, overall gameplay, etc. So it would seem that Tomb Raider is getting old, archaic, ancient, nobody wants to play it anymore. But did it actually stop Eidos from wanting Core Design to make another Tomb Raider game? Absolutely not, because numbers are in their favor. If a game sells well, there is no reason to stop the damn sequel train. However, Core Design had a devious plan in mind this time. Okay, they'll make the game, but they'll make sure it's gonna be the last one forever. How? Well, as you can see, they ditched the number and instead of calling it Tomb Raider 4, they opted for the name Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. Can you see the word last in the title? That means that the game is gonna be the last one. The last revelation of rampant, often life-threatening adventures and situation by a favorite British gal. Well, I hope you didn't believe me because I was just talking crap. But I bet you know what Core Design had in mind. Don't pretend now, you know it. You don't? Oh, come on! I mean, if you really don't know, maybe it's time to run away since I'm about to drop a huge spoiler. Well, to be honest, my Tomb Raider reviews are all full of spoilers, so this one is hardly going to be an exception to the rule. Anyways, the spoiler is, Core Design wanted to kill off Lara in the game without Eidos knowing so they would have the legit reason to bury the Tomb Raider franchise for good. And we all know how that one turned out. The franchise is so much dead. So, the last revelation. The third installment was everything else but a proper return to form, so I guess the TLR will have to do the trick. In order to do that, we have to have the desired ingredients to take the majority of the game's existence. And by that I mean delving into the ancient tombs, temples, uninhabited parts of the world that are filled with atmosphere, puzzles, traps, less human enemies. Okay, animals, mummies and skeletons can crash the party every once in a while, but these are prerequisites for the proper Tomb Raider experience in my opinion. In essence, the last revelation is the same as the previous Tomb Raiders, except for every single new thing that occurred this time. You know, the dominating part of the game is still 3D action adventure packed in a familiar grid-like gameplay. If that's enough for you, then you are in for a treat. But what are the new things? Well, TLR has plenty of them, so let's go dissect them right away. Right off the bat, you will notice that the circular main menu from the previous games is no more. This time you'll be greeted with a simple menu with two options and a cinematic camera showing some landscapes and rooms. However, I cannot recall seeing these landscapes and rooms anywhere in the game, am I right? I mean, the game is long so I might forget some of the places, but nah, still can't recall seeing any of the shown places in the menu. That's too bad. It's a nice change, but I'm fond of the old traditional menu. It was cool and very concise for what it is. Second thing to immediately notice is the absence of the Croft Manor. Now that's a proper minus in my book. Actually, it's even worse than that, because I love Croft Manor, especially the one from the third game. And back then, you would wonder how Core Design would improve and expand the Croft Manor, eagerly expecting the game to arrive. So how did they do it? By f***ing removing it altogether. Well, thanks, bitch. Yes, I know, there is the first level that serves as a tutorial level effectively substituting the manor, but it's just not the same. Just not. Rip in peace, my dear manor, for now. The third and quite a big change is the location. Gone is the travel around the world in favor of one returning country. This time, the entire game is set in Egypt. Because of the rich history and lots of preserved ancient locations, Egypt is a logical choice for thorough exploration and excavation of the numerous stuff. You'll see when you play the game how many beautiful places TLR offers. But at the other end of the spectrum, sometimes it can get pretty tiresome to look at the numerous shades of brown, yellow and orange colors coloring the world of Egypt. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop mentioning new things in this manner. I'd rather incorporate them as I go with the certain themes. I think you will agree with me, so let's go even deeper into this great pyramid of Tomb Raiding experience. Up until this point, the story in Tomb Raider games wasn't really that great, to be honest. I always felt it was hastily put together just for the sake of it. Just so we can have a brief explanation as to why we are doing this and that, or what are we doing in this country or level or whatever. Every other person besides Lara was quite irrelevant and unmemorable in the first two games. Okay, the third game tried its best to repair that, but it was still far away from something filmic. In TLR, Core Design tried once again to spell out a much better story this time, and I think they succeeded in that regard, finally. This time we are actually set in the Cambodia in the year 1984, controlling the teenage dirtbag Padawan Lara Croft accompanied by the Jedi Master Lara and Von Croy. The level is called Angkor Wat and it serves as a tutorial level. Since Von Croy is persistent in being all-out smart old man, he will interrupt your gameplay so many times with tiresome explanations it will piss you off. I know how to play the game, old man. Just shut up and go already. By the way, can you spot something cool? Can you see that now Lara and also Von Croy can move their mouths while talking? Holy shit! A graphical improvement right there. So there is no more closed mouth nodding. Nice. So, what is there to say about the level itself? It's obviously super easy except Von Croy's slaughter of these poor pigs. Look at this clumsy old man. If I'm to have a weapon, I would create sausages out of this piggy much faster. Okay, anyways, you can notice that graphically, TLR looks even better than Tomb Raider 3. Seems to be that Core Design maxed out the engine's visual abilities. I remember playing Chronicles and graphically, it looks the same as this one. So I guess this is the peak as the 5th generation of consoles go when it comes to Tomb Raider. So ignore the old man, collect 8 golden skulls along the way, and you will have a harder challenge in beating the Yora in the race for the iris. Actually, better yet, ignore my talk and don't collect any skulls. Then you will have an easier route for running. Even though winning the race does nothing except slightly altered cinematic, you'll just want to do it out of spite, to show the old man that it's time for retirement. The young forces are getting their 5 minutes of fame. Nevertheless, grabbing the iris was obviously a bad idea since the room started to shake and collapse. Poor Von Croy is stuck hanging and Lara slides outside. Now here comes the bonus question. Where is the first time in the franchise you can see the actual iris? Throw the comments in the section below. Don't cheat. Let's turn the time forward for at least 15 years. Present day Lara is doing some business in Egypt. You know she's thirsty for yet another shiny object like a raven. The shiny object this time seems to be a rather dangerous one. The Amulet of Horus is an ankh-shaped object that serves as a seal of the sarcophagus of Set in the burial chambers. So he is thus properly sealed and can't budge for several millennia or something, until one ignorant lady comes inside to steal the ankh and now she sets the Set free. That idiot is our beloved Lara Croft. Now we have to spend the entire game fixing the problem. But thank God for Semerket and his workaround in the way of gold armor of Horus. With the help of the friend Genevieve, she needs to collect it, but of course she needs an interruption in the form of old Von Croy and his minions. Yep, the old ass survived the Ares incident, and he doesn't give a shit if the Set is set free. He wants... I don't even know what. To be possessed by Set? I guess he checked it off from the bucket list. So, will the Lara Croft beat the old ass man and mitigate the stupid action she has done? We all know the answer, but let's just go back and talk about the levels, shall we? Do you know how many levels the last revelation has? 15? 20? 25? No, not even close. 30? Nope. 35 fucking levels. That's more than Tomb Raider 1 and 2 combined. That's how long this game is gonna be. So I guess it's gonna take me forever to finish it, and just like that, it's gonna take me forever to make this video. I'm sorry for that. Anyways, in TLR, you will collect the shotgun almost immediately. Like, you take 2 steps following the guide and there it is. Nice, but you will collect it 1,000 times more throughout the game. In previous entries, if you have the weapon, you only have it once. Next places will have only appropriate ammunition. This time I guess laziness took its toll, so you will collect 1,000 shotguns for nothing. Okay. Traversing the first few levels, you will have the feeling that this might finally be the Tomb Raider you were looking for. Enemies are scarce. You are in the caves or tombs. You encounter puzzles like this one when you let the guide use his torch to light the oily pools into flames in the room below. And you are in the room above jumping on the illuminated platforms to open the door. Holy shit, are we finally getting the fix we needed for so long? It seems to be. And all is wrapped up in such a nice graphic that I don't know what else do we need right now. Valley of the Kings level will serve as the first introduction of vehicles in the game, using Jeep to chase enemy Jeep. I was never really fond of this level. If you ask me, it could have been put as a cinematic piece of Fast and Furious chase throughout the desert with the final jump to the ferry in front of the slumber of old man's sullen eyes. While we are talking about the game's cinematics, you will notice that this game is filled with them. Most of the time, the camera will start to wander around showing what's ahead of us. Sometimes pulling a lever or similar action will trigger the cutscene where the camera points to where we need to go. Like a hint. Or there will be a proper cutscene with human-to-human interaction, or something like this cheap destroying experience in the Temple of Karnak. The Temple of Karnak marks yet another huge difference in the Tomb Raider series. For the first time ever, it's possible to traverse back and forth between levels in the section. Even though TLR has 35 levels, they are grouped into 6 sections: Cambodia, King's Valley, Karnak, Alexandria, Cairo, and Pyramids of Giza. The last 4 sections have levels that are interconnected by the infamous loading screens. At a first glance this looks cool, like wow, now you can explore everything, but as I'm playing the game, I'm not so sure about that. Now it's so easy to get properly lost without knowing what to do. You can miss an item several levels before, so you cannot advance the game, so you need to do a good chunk of backtracking to investigate where that item is. Before it was all tied to one level. Once you beat it, there is no going back. It's cleared. But this time it's very complicated. Some of the levels even have several entries, so this all makes traversing even more confusing. For example, you can reach the catacombs level in several ways, but you need to enter one way to pull the pillar. You obviously pull it, but now what's that pillar going to do? You cannot know. Well, you need to go back to coastal ruins and go for the other entrance to catacombs to pull the wooden statue or something to advance the plot. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it since the aforementioned pillar is not holding the ground in place. I mean, even though the game, when it comes to the hours you need to play to beat it, is the same as Tomb Raider 3, the sheer number of going back and forth throughout the levels would increase the total time, and that's guaranteed. It's not unusual to get completely stuck, and really not unusual to get some walkthrough advice for what to do next. I know I was doing it especially in the Cairo section. I fucking hate Cairo. The overall pacing of the story and the game start is very well done in my opinion. Everything is carried as it's supposed to. The level design and overall look is superb. I mean, check out the levels like the burial chambers and its rotating rooms section. This segment alone is the perfect representation of what the Tomb Raider games should be. Check out the levels like the Temple of Karnak, or the Great Hypostyle Hall, or even Sacred Lake for their pretty level design, sense of mystery, or the Egyptian atmosphere. I especially like the Sacred Lake, the bluish water that contrasts the vast yellowness. Check out the tomb of Samarkand with a giant chess wannabe called Senet, or something like that. Too bad this minigame isn't bigger in scope, because it's cool to engage it in against the big ass head from the opposite wall. However, that level has one crucial mistake in my opinion, a really stupid one, but I'm gonna mention it later on. Levels like Desert Railroad are very cool. An interesting take on the level design where you can only walk, run and do stuff on the wagons of the train. Since the damn train runs so fast, it's natural that all of the ground becomes one big death zone. And of course you need to be interrupted by the occasional appearances of Von Croy minions. Levels in the Alexandria sections carry the torch even further, and this is where I think that the game is at its peak. Sure, wandering around coastal ruins and getting lost on occasion can be exhausting, but the levels like Catacombs, the Temple of Poseidon and the Lost Library more than make up for it. Catacombs are big with their vast rooms and filled with undead skeletons and undead wraiths. The Temple of Poseidon is a cool example of going through 4 mini trials to assemble the Poseidon stuff from collected tridents just to let the water come through. The Lost Library is the peak level when it comes to just about everything. It's a big room filled with lots of doors where you need to figure out some stuff like using the light on the binoculars to see the planet's alignment, or where you need to use the torch to burn the wooden floor to come through it. This level has a lot of going on. Hell, it even has a boss battle. The armored guy on a horse. I mean, it's easy to kill, but hey, we have a boss battle in the middle of the level. I really like the Lost Library despite it being very long. Okay, I lied. The true peak, at least in a visual aspect, is the level Temple of Isis accompanied by the Cleopatra's palaces. Just admire the beauty of the premises you are about to traverse. When I think about ancient Egypt, this is what I have in my mind. But beware, since this one has no shortage of traps such as self-immolating oil rooms with undead scarabs, the spike floors that needed to be activated by mechanical scarab and so on. Oh yeah, this one also has a boss battle, but one of the guardians seems to get stuck, which makes the fighting very easy. And now, this is where for the most of the people, me included, the game slows down to a grinding halt and becomes a very tiresome experience. Yes, I'm talking about Cairo levels. First of all, the levels are ugly. All of them, at least to me. Von Croy, who is now possessed by Seth, has got Jean-Yves in captivity. He is demanding the horse armor in exchange for John, and he is forcing me to walk or ride a bike in these boring and annoying levels. Thanks all asshole, appreciate it. Okay, luring the immortal Thor demigod into the closed room in the chambers of Tulun is a cool deal. But going all around the city of the dead, through Chamber of Tulun, all the way to the trenches to find a nitro bottle and a pipe from a broken jeep just to make your bike faster and able to jump 1 or 2 holes is just insufferable moment. And also that pipe on the jeep is very missable moment, believe me. And then you find yourself wandering around these ugly levels with lots of question marks popping over your head. That's fucking stupid. Or I'm fucking stupid. There is no third option. Cairo has at least 3 moments that I find very cryptic, and these break the game experience in its entirety. I wouldn't be surprised if most of the people stopped playing the game right there. This is a shame because last section is full of pyramids that are full of interesting areas and puzzles. And that section just comes way too late. At this point you are probably thinking about how TLR is just one big work and you just need to finish it already. I know I felt that way, which is a shame because this section offers the levels like Underneath the Sphinx. That level offers several rooms full of puzzles and traps that remind me of Lost City of Tinos. Sure, you need to trap these balls into cages so you can do your thing, but once you press the right combination of these big grey buttons, there you go. You open a certain gate and the trial for one of the crucial items can start. It's such a shame that a level like this takes forever to arrive. So, let's talk about the few problems the last revelation has. First of all, the tutorial level. Yes, I'm still crying over Croft Manor, but despite that, this tutorial did not include lots of important moves that should have been there. For example, it doesn't show Lara's ability to shimmy around corners and the ability to open underwater doors. You would think that you would need to pull the lever somewhere, but no, all you need is your arms and legs. In the tutorial, you never use binoculars and lights to see certain things like the planet alignment in the Lost Library or the hints for pushing the wall buttons in the Underneath the Sphinx. In my opinion, the tutorial level should also give an example of using a torch, since some of the things are very cryptic in this game. Would you even try to set off the sprinkle alarm in the level trenches by your own knowledge? I sure wouldn't. I mean, it makes sense, but it's kind of cryptic. How about using a car jack to open this door in Street Bazaar? Sure, this brick wall is kinda suspicious, but it would never occur to me to place the car jack there and break the padlock of the trap door. Or what about this great hypostyle level moment? Camera is suggesting that we need to do something with this ball on the top of the pillar. But what? Push it? Nope. You actually need to shoot it down? What the fuck? How the fuck was I supposed to figure that out? How? What about the City of the Dead and this corpse? Did you know that you can actually pull it to be able to open the door? Once again, it would never occur to me to do it. Yes, the corpse has a bit of blood trail behind, but I don't think it's convincing enough. Without a walkthrough, I was screwed right there. Oh, so you think this is all nothing? How about this? A fucking game of Senet where you need to lose the game if you want to collect all of the secrets in the level. That's right, you can win and get the easier route to finish the Tomb of Semerket, but then kiss your secrets goodbye. Who designs things like that? So there's no need to win. Obviously I won and what's the point? Also, I didn't test this one, but I was thinking, what about revolver combined with the laser sight and using it to shoot the padlocks, turrets or these rubies in the level mastabas? I'm not so sure that you can use any other weapon to do it, but revolver. But there might be a problem. You have a limited ammo. What if you decide to use the revolver on enemies and run out of ammo before you reach the level mastabas? How are you gonna shoot those rubies? If you know, please type down in the comments. What about the last boss fight? It feels kinda anticlimactic if you ask me. Seth is invincible, so the only way to defeat him is to use the amulet and seal him for good. Imagine it being a slightly different take on the Sophia boss fight in the Tomb Raider 3. You need to avoid her attacks and electrocute her. Here you need to avoid Seth's attack and seal him forever. No shooting involved. Shame. Several new things regarding Lara is the ability to open doors with arms or legs as she sees fit, and to swing on a rope. This can be very imprecise if you need to jump from one rope to another, so patience is the key. Otherwise you'll become the bloody pancake on the floor. Oh, and she can climb the pipes like this. Yes, she can, you pervert. Shimmy around the corners and pull the hanging lever like this one. These are all subtle improvements to make the gameplay aspect better. This time she can combine items. Sometimes you need several pieces of the item to assemble a new one that will be used, like this sun talisman. Or like this hook and pole to create a hook and pole, so she can grab a key. That's cool. She can combine ammo too, like the shells for the shotgun or the arrows for the crossbow. I really like crossbow with explosive ammo. It feels like a primitive rocket launcher. Check this out. Inventory is also changed, as you can see. It's not a circular thing anymore. This one resembles a conveyor belt. Not so sure if I like it, but I don't really care. Luckily, you can save game anywhere and anytime you like. Gone are the stupid save game crystals for good. But if you die and get the game over screen, there is no ability to restart the level, just to load the game. If you want to do the level once again, well, tough luck my friend. Maybe this has to do something with the levels being interconnected for traveling back and forth. This way it's kinda hard to grasp where the restart of the level should take place. I don't really know, I'm just guessing. But at least we can save anywhere. Anyways, I've got carried away once again, so this is the moment to wrap this all up. The Last Revelation as a game suffers from several negativities mentioned before, but overall, it's a decent experience. At least the first half of the game is very good if you ask me. Core design almost nailed everything that needed to be done. Such a shame that game goes on and on forever and loses its momentum quite hard. But if you look at TLR from the point of having already 3 similar games done before it, then it's easy to understand why people accuse the game of becoming stale. Even Core Design knew that, so that's why they decided that in the last cutscene Lara is unable to escape the crumbled temple, and just like that they killed her off in the front of eyes of Von Croy. They thought this would be it. No more Tomb Raider. Well, we all know that they were horribly wrong. Lara Croft was still a big asset in the gaming industry, so Eidos wanted not 1 but 2 Tomb Raider games. A possible cash grab called Tomb Raider Chronicles and the next gen output called The Angel of Darkness. So, it's time to finish. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like it, give it a like, a comment and sub for more of the similar content. And until next time, kanpai!